Le vent fait pleurer mes yeux et je cavale pour me réchauffer. Je me dis que ce climat-là n'est pas pour moi, parce que
pour moi, j'aime pas parler de responsabilité, parce que je suis un auteur et j'aime écrire, et moi ça m'amuse, je prends du plaisir à le faire et tout. Je fais pas de politique et c'est pour ça. Mais il y a quand même une responsabilité que je m'octroie, c'est celle de donner la voix justement à la génération de nos parents qui n'ont pas eu la possibilité de laisser une trace. Parce que eux, quand ils vont disparaître, en fait, toute leur histoire va disparaître avec eux parce que personne s'y intéresse. Et donc pour moi, voilà, ça c'est la responsabilité que je me donne. Leur donner une revanche. Je sais pas si j'aime pas trop le mot, mais une gentille revanche, quoi, pas méchante.
Faïza Guène is an incredibly talented young writer. She's 24. She's born to Algerian parents, but she was born in France in 1985. She's got 3 novels under her belt already. The first one is called Just Like Tomorrow, and it's a coming-of-age story set in the banlieue, and the main character is Doria, who's 14, and whose dad goes back to the Morocco that he comes from to try and sire the son he never managed in France, and leaves her and her mum on the estate having to fend for themselves, and it's really how they cope with this big challenge and how it's a summer in which Doria has to grow up big time. The second novel is Dreams from the Ends, and we jump forward 10 years in this, so our narrator now, Faïza, very much enjoys the first person narrative. It's called Akhlem, which is Arabic for dream, and this is an Algerian who was born in Algeria but had to leave when she was 10 or 11 because her mother was murdered in a massacre in the 90s in Algeria at a time of immense civil unrest, civil war even. And this book is also set on an estate outside Paris, but we've moved south. The first book was north, and its horizons are much wider, so we have a lot of journeys into Paris proper, and then we travel out to Algeria itself. The style of writing is gritty, humorous, realistic, sassy, and incredibly fresh.
Le vent fait pleurer mes yeux et je cavale pour me réchauffer. Je me dis que je ne vis pas au bon endroit, que ce climat-là n'est pas pour moi, parce qu'au fond, ce n'est qu'une question de climat.
The crazy cold of France is paralysing me. I'm Akhlem, by the way, and I'm walking through the crush of all these people in a rush, bumping into each other, running late, arguing, on their mobiles, not smiling, and I can see my brothers, who are so cold, like me. I can always spot them. It's something in their eyes, like they want to be invisible, or somewhere else. But they're here.
Can you tell us a little bit about your motivations behind this second novel and what was driving you there?
Je crois que... En fait, après le succès du premier roman, grâce à ce succès, j'ai eu l'occasion de voyager beaucoup parce que, donc, comme le disait Sarah tout à l'heure, le livre a été traduit dans plusieurs langues. Et en fait, c'est comme quand on regarde un tableau au musée, plus on recule et mieux on a une perspective, une vision globale de l'œuvre. Et en fait, plus je suis sortie de mon quartier, plus je me suis rendu compte de la manière dont on était perçu. Et parfois, j'ai eu des mauvaises surprises. J'ai compris en fait depuis ces quelques années, j'ai eu beaucoup de, comment dire, j'avais les conséquences et j'avais pas les causes ou les explications de certaines choses qu'on vivait. Donc là j'ai eu l'occasion de m'apercevoir d'un certain paternalisme qui existait encore, de ce que j'appelle les relents de colonialisme. Et de soit ça ou soit une espèce de bienveillance louche mais qui nous renvoie toujours à un rôle de sous-français. Et j'ai mieux compris en fait la manière dont on nous voyait, dont on nous regardait par rapport à l'image que les médias renvoient beaucoup, mais aussi par rapport à l'histoire en fait, et une histoire avec un grand H qui n'est pas encore réglée tout à fait à plusieurs niveaux.
Can we move on to politics slightly? So you said you're not a politician. You write novels and you have fun writing novels, and that's what you're about. But it seems to me sometimes your politics is very strong in what you don't say. So the obvious example in this book, and I'll give you a tiny little quote from here, is this book came out in France in September 2006. So in November '05, everyone will remember the big scenes of the cars burning in the banlieue. And then the following year there'd been big manifestations with students as well. So there really was a period of big unrest for France and a big question about where things were going. And the only reference to that in here, and of course Sarkozy, who had rather less power in those days, famously used the word racaille, and that doesn't crop up in this book at all. This is the only reference you get, and it's Harlem has gone to collect her little brother from football and he's out late. I bet he's on the other side of the estate at the Pierre de Coubertin Stadium. I've noticed how many sports grounds get to be called Pierre de Coubertin. How unoriginal is that? If you ask me, we should rename our stadium Ladji Doucouré one of these days. So a shift from the founder of the Olympic movement to a Malian-Senegalese hurdler with French nationality. Anyway, the stadium's at the foot of what everyone calls the hill. It's like a big mound looming over these ends. So I position myself up on the top and I get this amazing view. The lights are coming at me from all around and it's beautiful. I'm surrounded by all these screwball housing blocks that hem in our lives here, our noises and smells. I'm standing alone in the middle of their wacky architecture, their garish colours, their mad shapes that have cradled our illusions for so long. The days are over when running water and electricity were enough to camouflage the injustices, and the shanty towns are far away. I'm standing proud and thinking about a whole heap of stuff. What's happened in our ends these past few weeks has stirred up the world press, but after a few clashes between youths and the police, everything's calmed down again. What can the carcasses of burnt-out cars do to change anything when an army of fanatics is trying to silence us? The only legitimate curfew is the one I'm imposing this evening as a non-French citizen on my 15-year-old little brother. What do you mean by an army of fanatics trying to silence you?
En fait, c'était incroyable la différence énorme, gigantesque entre ce que je voyais à la télévision et ce que je voyais de ma fenêtre. Parce que les gens, ceux qui me faisaient peur, qui étaient effrayants et impressionnants, c'était pas les mêmes en fait.
I never complain at home, not even when our heating cuts out, because Dad just goes, "You keep quiet now, you didn't live through the winter of '63. Not much I can say to that. In 1963 I wasn't even born. So I shuffle and slide along France's slippery streets, passing Rue Joubert, where a few prostitutes on the pavements call out to each other. They look like beat-up old dolls who aren't afraid of the cold anymore. Working girls are the climatic exception. It doesn't matter where they are. They've stopped feeling everything.
Je pense que entre justement la génération de nos pères, moi le mien il a 75 ans aujourd'hui, qui ont bien servi dignement et proprement la France, parce que mon père il arrive en France en 52, donc vraiment pile dans le moment de la reconstruction post-guerre. Et je crois que le plus terrible gouffre, c'est entre justement ces deux générations, dans la quête de reconnaissance, parce que on a vu nos parents souffrir, travailler dur, et aujourd'hui encore, quand je vais avec ma mère à la mairie ou chez le docteur, il lui parle comme une enfant ou à une attardée mentale, et c'est très très dur pour nous, parce que nos parents ils trouvaient refuge dans l'idée que ils n'étaient pas chez eux, et nous on peut trouver refuge nulle part parce qu'on est né là, donc on comprend pas trop.
I think Faïza's been published in 27 different countries, so that's a phenomenal success, and a success that goes well beyond the issue of immigration in the banlieue. That she should have been successful in Hong Kong gives you an idea that it's not really just about the social issues that are getting across, it's actually human characters that people are empathising with, and their stories and their daily trials and tribulations.